Gbanya, the ruler of Mende chiefdom, drags his favorite wife, Yoko, from the dancing arena into his bedchamber in order to satisfy his desires. And whilst they both engage in back and forth, a guard comes in to announce that the governor will be visiting the following day. Gbanya begins to get worried as the governor had not visited them before. Yoko, also worried, asks Gbanya if he has a clue on why the governor will be visiting, and Gbanya responded that it's most likely connected to the boys he hired out to John Coker to fight against his brother George. He also fears that his end is near, as he had been seeing his late father in his dreams bidding him to come over. Yoko suggests they sacrifice to the gods to avert the death, but Gbanya feels it is unnecessary, as he is prepared to die. Upon hearing this, Yoko makes move to call on Ndapi, Keke Lamboi, and Lavali, so Gbanya can pronounce her, Yoko, the next ruler of Mende chiefdom. Gbanya changes his mind about Yoko being the best candidate to rule the chiefdom after him, especially now that there are a series of warfare going on against the land. He believes that Senehu, to keep standing, then it has to be ruled by a man. Yoko tries to convince Gbanya that she can do a good job of ruling well, and gives names of women who had been ruling chiefdom successfully for many years. But Gbanya is still not convinced. Musa, the seer of Mende chiefdom, on the other hand, blatantly rejects the plan by Lamboi, Yoko's brother, to kill Gbanya, the king, so he can be the next chief instead of his sister, Yoko, as he has noticed how much Gbanya loves Yoko and fear he might make her the next chief. Lamboi tries to convince Musa further that Yoko, being a woman, if allowed to rule, would give room for the enemy to kill Mende people and take them into slavery. Upon seeing that Musa is still not cooperating with him, Lamboi threatens to expose Musa being the cause of the death of many villagers, whom he'd killed for his bofina and charms. Musa, not wanting his secret out in the open, accepts to help him kill the chief. Back at the palace, Gbanya, together with his chief, make preparation for the governor's arrival. Musa reminds Gbanya that he has been neglecting the Poro bush. He needs to make him go there so he can carry out his plans of killing him. And Gbanya promised to go as soon as the governor leaves. Yoko voices her fear that something tragic was going to happen that day and suggests they kill the governor to avert the looming tragedy. But Gbanya refuses, owing that the governor and his people have sophisticated weapons and they won't need to get close to the people of Mende before wiping them all out. Governor Rowe enters the palace and turns down pleasantries from Gbanya, telling him he would be punished for sending his warriors to fight on John Coker's side. Gbanya immediately denied the allegations, but Governor Rowe was having none of it. He commands his soldiers to beat Gbanya up in the presence of his chief and wives, after which Gbanya was fined. Governor Rowe leaves with his soldiers, and Lamboi orders Lavali and Ntapi to block the entrances against the people coming in to see their chief in this disgraceful state. Yoko is sent out to get hot water for Gbanya's wounds, and upon her exit, Lamboi seizes the time to carry out his evil deed. Gbanya asks to see his favorite wife, but was forced to drink water which already contains alligator gore. He realizes upon drinking it that he had been poisoned by his fellow Poro men. Just then, Yoko comes in and Gbanya passes the chiefdom over to her and dies. Yoko leaves and returns with a cutlass. As she has a doubt about her husband's death being natural, she immediately takes over the chiefdom and threatens to kill anyone who stands in her way. Musa informs her that she cannot enter into the royal hut as she does not belong to the Poro, but she urges him to go prepare the ceremony as she's ready to forfeit her womanhood. That is, she would not be able to give birth if that is what is going to cost her to rule Mende chiefdom. Meanwhile, at Ndapi's house, Jilo is preparing food when Lansana, one of Mende warriors, enters. Apparently, he and Jilo had been having an affair for some times now. Jilo wants him to leave as she is scared that her husband would come in at any time, but Lansana wanted them to make out before leaving, which Jilo eventually gives in to. Yoko, in a bid to expand the chiefdom, had asked that the warriors prepare to go to war against the smaller chiefdoms, and Ndapi, Jilo's husband, and Lavali discusses the essence of the war. Ndapi, returning home to see that Jilo had not prepared his meal, starts to beat her until she was saved by a guard who had come to discuss the impending war with him. Yoko has indeed lived to her word that she can be a successful chief, as they have successfully expanded the chiefdom from Seneun to Muyamba. She, however, confides in Fane that there are times when she wished she had a child of her own. She also tells Mama Fane and Musu that she does not trust Ngomusa and Lamboi, and she thinks they are both responsible for her husband's death. She later asks to bring Geneba, Jilo and Ndapi's only child, which she treats as her own and dotes on. Whilst playing with Geneba, a guard comes in to tell her that she has a visitor from the governor. While she's preparing to see the visitor, Ndapi comes in beating Jilo while dragging her in with him. Ndapi tells Yoko that Jilo was caught making out with Lansana in the bush close to the river. Yoko demands that Lansana be dragged to the palace at once for adequate punishment, and Jilo puts in the stocks immediately while she, Yoko, attends to the governor's visitor. Lamboi, who is still not pleased with her sister being the chief instead of him, plots yet again with Musa, the medicine man, to kidnap Geneba, kill her, and tell the villagers that Yoko had killed her. With that, the people will cause an uprising and Yoko will be forced to vacate the throne. At the chief's court, the governor's messenger reads out a letter from the governor appreciating Yoko for her good contributions since she has assumed the position of the chief. Sitting with Jilo, while Geneba on her laps, Mama Fene questioned why Jilo decided to cheat on her husband with his best friend. And Jilo's response is that Ndapi constantly abuses her. But Lansana admires and reassures her a lot that it was easier giving her attention to Lansana than to her abusive husband. Back at the chief's court, Yoko is preparing to honor the governor's invitation to crown 2 chiefs in another chiefdom. She always do whatever pleases the governor, even to the extent of imposing taxes on her people because the governor wants it that way. While discussing the need to pay taxes with Lavali, Lansana is brought to the palace and Yoko commands that he be put in the stocks immediately. As this is going on, Jilo runs in wailing that her child Geneba has disappeared. Yoko immediately sent out a search party to look for her, and she instructs her brother Lamboi to oversee things in her absence while making Ngomusa the second in command, after which she left to see the governor. While the search for Geneba is ongoing, Lamboi suggests that Musa should start planting the seed of Yoko being responsible for Geneba's death in the heart of the women, as it is believed that women like gossip. Musa starts to sell the story of Yoko killing Geneba as sacrifice to the women by telling them that the gods reveal it to him upon his divination. By now, the women had spread the rumors just as Lamboi and Musa wanted, and they are demanding for a meeting with Yoko. Yoko, the queen, returns amidst the Olabalu and demands for an explanation as to why the villagers were calling her murderer, devil, witch, and so on. She also asks if Geneba has been found. As she makes a move to go sit on her throne, she is blocked by Ndapi, who insists that Yoko would only sit back on the throne after she had found his daughter, and he proceeds to sit on the throne. Yoko is immediately accused by Ndapi and Lamboi of killing Geneba and burying her in a big pot. But just as she is about to swear by the Poro that she knows nothing about Geneba's death, there is a sudden news that Geneba's body has been found, but with her private parts gone. At the news, Ndapi realizes that Yoko couldn't have been responsible for Geneba's death and asks for her forgiveness, which Yoko was not ready to give. She sends everyone out of her palace and asks Lavali to go prepare the Porobush, as she is bent on getting to the bottom of this incident that has brought disgrace upon her after all the hard work she had put into making sure that her reign was successful. The Sunday women also begs for Yoko's forgiveness, but she refuses to grant them audience and locks herself in her room all day. Amidst the preparation for the Poro night, the governor's messenger arrives with yet another bad news. Ndapi finds out at the Poro bush that Keke Lamboi and Ngomusa are responsible for the death of his daughter, Geneba. He stands up to go after them, but is stopped by Queen Yoko, who assures him that both Musa and Lamboi will be far away from the chiefdom already. But the good news is that Poro's judgment is instant, and that their noses would rot, cataract would marry their eyeballs, leprosy would devour their fingers, and elephantiasis would cling to their legs as a revenge from Gbanya. Just then, a guard comes in to tell Yoko about the presence of the governor's messenger, and Yoko asks that he comes into the Poro bush, as he is also a Poro man. The messenger comes in to announce that the south of Banda Juma and the 6 villages to the north of the Tabe River, which Yoko has successfully conquered in order to expand her chiefdom, now belong to the people of Bo chiefdom. and that the original boundary mark has been declared null and void. This means that the governor can give out the rest of Mende chiefdom at any time. Yoko has had enough. She sent Lavali to go fetch poison, which she intends to take and die. First, she was humiliated by the entire chiefdom, by Lamboi, her very own brother, and Musa, the village seer. All she has accomplished in her years as the queen of Mendeland has been taken away from her and given to another by the governor, despite her unfailing loyalty to him. Yoko, a once mighty and powerful queen just some days ago, has been reduced to nothing in the twinkling of an eye. Yoko returns to her palace, and Ntapi and Jilo, Geneba's parents, comes in to beg for her forgiveness. She asks them how they could think that she would kill the child she has always considered her very own and has shown nothing but love to. She urges them to go mourn the death of their daughter and leave her, Yoko, to carry her own cross alone. Musu and Mama Fane enters with the medicine Yoko has asked them to prepare. But all effort to persuade Yoko not to drink it proved abortive. Mama Fane insists that if Yoko is to drink the poison, then she would drink it also, as she cannot bear losing her queen. Yoko responded that only she has tasted the fruit of power and enjoyed the grandeur of office, and that if she is to die, then she should be allowed to die alone. She drinks the contents of the calabash, grips her stomach in pain, and slumps to the ground. Seeing her writhed in pains, Mama Fane tries to force her to drink palm oil to neutralize the poison, but Yoko refuses, saying, "No, Fane, I did not bring a child into this world, so let no one mourn my death. Tell the entire chiefdom, none should mourn my death." And with this, Yoko dies. And this brings us to the end of Let Me Die Alone, written by John Kolosa Kagbo. If you find this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up, like, and drop a comment. Thank you, and see you in my next lesson. Bye.